What's up, guys? Nick from Mining Office. We're here the day after the merge. We're September 16th. We're living in a new world, guys. We're living in a world without ETH. I think we never thought we would be here, even though we knew the merge was coming. But listen, it is what it is. I'm actually celebrating this. I'm happy. As I saw a lot of other crypto YouTubers already expressed, I agree with them. I think mining was a little boring. And listen, I'm saying this being someone who started during like the peak of Ethereum. Mining was a little boring with Ethereum at the top. It was basically you put your rigs on Ethereum and you forgot about it. I think now it's really interesting that we have multiple coins that are really coming out, like Ravencoin represent, Flux, Ergo, I'm obviously forgetting some, but ETC, you know, and Nyoxa, I'm sure more will come up. But yeah, it's a new world where it's mix up. Stuff is going to happen, hash rate is going to come, hash rate is going to drop, so is profitability, and prices will dictate basically what happens with the hash rates. But yeah, like I said, personally, I'm celebrating this. I'm really happy that we're done with Ethereum and we can move on to more exciting things, onto a new era of crypto mining, and I'm extremely excited. I think I've said it already 10 times in this video. So. I just want to make this video to tell you guys what I did, what happened with my 3 rigs. You can see the Octominer here, my 30 series rig, and I have my 16 series rig down there. What I did is the day before the merge, I moved over my Octominer entirely to Ravencoin, and then the same thing for the 1660 Super rig. I shut the 30 series rig off. And by the way, I didn't have to reconfigure anything on this in the sense of power supplies, power cables. I built them in a way that they were future-proof for being able to run Ravencoin, just changing the flight sheet, let's say for the Octominer or whatnot, or just the bat file for one of these rigs, and they were basically going to be ready to go. So I didn't have to change any hardware on this. So like I said, I basically got the 16 series rig mining Ravencoin as well, turned this one off, and the morning after the merge, I turned this guy on Ravencoin. So I basically just had one rig that had one night's worth of downtime. I didn't want to have this like super power hungry rig running on Ravencoin for the first time while I was asleep. Sort of just being, paranoid. But anyway, that's basically the reason behind it. And since then, I've had everything running on Ravencoin. There's a reason why I'm wearing the shirt. By the way, if you want any crypto apparel, I have flags over here that you guys can't see that you'll see maybe later in the video. All that stuff can be found at crypty.co, so go check it out. But yeah, like I said, I moved all my hash rate to Ravencoin. I have a bit more power draw right now. I think we're almost up to 14 amps. We're a bit below it, and that's on 240 volt. Whereas before we were at 11.5 amps when everything was on Ethereum. I also have one PC here I'm recording on and one PC upstairs that I have also switched to Ravencoin. But that doesn't mean my rigs are going to stay like that. So anyway, I'm just going to show you quickly my farm, the state of it, the power draw, the hash rate. I won't go over profitability, so don't cry about that because it's an ever-changing thing. Because look, we're September 16th. If I look at the profitability now, it doesn't really mean much. So we won't do that, but we'll just look over what I've got. And afterwards, my plan for the future. Because like I said, things won't stay like this, but we'll get to that. So let's switch over to my Octominer first. I have pretty much just like a mix of cards in there. You guys can see that here. So yeah, my first card is a card that was sent to me by Xandercoin Mining. I'll link to that video up here somewhere. The RX 580 8GB. So I have that guy running on Team Red Miner, getting about 13 mega hash, 13, 14 mega hash. It varies. Ravencoin is an algo where your hash rate will slightly fluctuate all the time. And then I have a bunch of 30 series cards, a 1070 Ti, and 2 1660 Supers. The 1070 Ti is actually the Red Fox 1070 Ti, so I have my community cards in this mining rig, let's say. And you can see here the power draw that it says, and normally from the Octominer it's pretty accurate. I've measured with a watt meter at the wall and compared it to the reading here, and it was accurate to like within 5 watts, okay? So I trust this reading here only for Octominer HiveOS, this type of setup, okay? So we've gone up by about 150 watts, maybe a bit more. We're at 1.265 kilowatts, which I think really isn't bad, and that's mostly because of these 1660 Supers here, okay? I spent a lot of time fine-tuning the 30 series when I got into mining, basically. Whenever I'd get a new card, I'd try it on Ethereum and Ravencoin, and basically get my overclocks and all that settled. But the 1660 Supers I've always ran on Ethereum. So I had to play a bit with those. From what I found, you can basically run them between like 75 and 100 watts and basically getting varying efficiencies and yields and outputs from that. But I prefer to run them at the highest efficiency now, especially when profitability is like at the lowest it's been in a long time, right? So in this case, yeah, I go towards the 75, 80 watts. Like I said, I've seen people run them at 100, get like 13, 14 mega hash, but they seem to go between 11 and 12, and you'll see that is pretty much the same on my 16 series rig down here, okay? So yeah, for those, I'm not pulling much more than with Ethereum really. I hadn't BIOS modded these like a lot of people did, so my power draw isn't much more. Yeah, so pulling, I said 11 and a half mega hash. This 1070 Ti, spoiler alert, I might try it on Flux. I'm downloading Zelcore. I'm going to get started on Flux, and I think this is the first card I'll put on it, just to sort of try it out and get initiated to it. But right now, this is the best I was ever able to overclock it to, 15.66 mega hash at 130 watts. So again, these are older gen cards. I mean, specifically the 1070 Ti and the RX 580. So can't expect too much of them, but it is what it is. And then I have 3 3060s, one 3060 Ti, and one 3070. Obviously, the 3070s are the most efficient on Ravencoin, same as on Ethereum for all the 30 series lineup. That guy's pulling, you know, 150 watts, getting 30.5 mega hash. The 3060s get about 23-ish mega hash for 135 watts. And my 3060 Ti, I let them pull 160, which is a little high, but they get between 28, 29, sometimes 30 mega hash. I'm getting about 180 mega hash on Ravencoin for this 1.27 kilowatts. So that's it for my Octominer, and you guys can see too, just note here, my fans are on 65%. I didn't really change that much, and my GPU fans are not on that high really. I mean, the ones that are on high is because they're Zotac cards and the fans are just garbage. Sorry, that is what it is. The fans are absolute garbage. So they don't cool very well. But I don't really run the fans much higher than I do on Ethereum, to be honest. I mean, this is a 12 card rig, which is only filled with 9 cards. So there's more spacing than, let's say, somebody who has a full, you know, X12. But listen, it is what it is. You guys know now. But yeah, so it is more power hungry. It can be a problem for thermals, Ravencoin, but I'm not finding it to be so. I mean, look, I'm in this whole room. I only have 3 rigs. I have good airflow with you know, an intake all the way in the back there. You guys can see the window open, back there, and I have the fan blowing out here. So anyway, Octominer running smooth, super stable, 180 mega hash, hashing away. So let me remote into the 1660 Super rig. Then we'll go to the 30 series rig here. Just show you guys what's up there. All right, so now we're on to my 6x1660 Super rig. You guys can see here I have a restart and a GPU crash. Obviously, I'm still fine-tuning the overclocks. I mean, I have like a base overclock that works. It crashes sometimes, not too many rejected chairs. Obviously, I'm trying to fine-tune it so it runs like perfectly stably. When we go to my 30 series rig, you'll see that again, it's like super stable. That's because, like I said before, I had a lot of time to fine-tune it on 16 series and not so much. But you can see very similar to the Octominer. I'm not going to spend too much time here. All about between 75 and 80 watts, and I'm getting between 11 and 12 mega hash. So pretty standard efficiency. You know, overall between 145, 150 kilohash per watt. I think that's where you should aim to get. If you can get something like way above that in the 150s, please let me know your overclocks. Maybe it's just Silicon Lottery, but I'll definitely try it out. This is like seemingly the best I can get it, and basically now I'm just reducing core clock a bit. I don't even have any memory on these cards. From what I saw, it did nothing. So yeah, here in the miner it reports 470 watt power draw. This thing for sure draws over 600 watts at the wall, I can guarantee that. With the motherboard and all that. The fans, I have 6 fans on here, guaranteed over 600 watts because I think it was like 590 or 600 on Ethereum. And like I said, the power draw is like pretty much the same, maybe a few watts more per card, so nothing major. So let's hop over to the 30 series rig and I'll get back to you guys. And here we go. So you guys can see here on this rig, I have a 3080, 2 3070 Ti's, 2 full hash rate 3070s, and one 3060 Ti, which is actually displaying out, okay? I don't know if that changes anything when I'm remoted in. question mark. Anyway, so yeah, you guys can see rejected shares are very low, under 0.2% on all of them. I have no crashes, no restarts, and like a day and a half of, oh, actually I have one restart, so whatever, it is what it is, but it's still very stable. Yeah, so on these cards, I get obviously higher efficiency. They're 30 series cards, but some of them not by too much. Like I said before, 3070s, most efficient, around 200 kilohash per watt. I like to run them at 150 watts. I get about 30 mega hash. The 3060 Ti is not far away from there, excuse me. Uses about 160 watts for that 29 mega hash. So for the price, I mean, 3060 Ti is probably a better bang for your buck still, but 3070 being that ultimate efficiency. 3070 Ti is kind of the opposite. It's the worst efficiency, like you guys can see. It's pretty good output for the dollars you'll put in for the price of the card. At least that's how it was. I mean, the prices are probably going to change pretty dramatically. 41 mega hash is a pretty good output, but almost 250 watts, 245 watts. That's pretty power hungry for an efficiency of like 160 something, 165. And then the 3080 actually gets better efficiency for that 46 to 48 mega hash per watt. It's at its lower range now. It gets up to 47, 48, and that'll give like 170 kilohash per watt. So that's about it, guys. This rig again is telling me it's taking 1.225 kilowatts. I'll finally get it right. But again, it's probably pulling more than that at the wall. I could probably try with, oh no, I can't try with the watt meter because now it's on 240. But like I said, this now takes 13.8 amps times 240 volts. That's like 3,000 something watts. So nothing crazy going up on Ravencoin. Like I said, you just have to make sure you're checking your power supplies and your splitters. If you're using any, your cables, making sure you're not really overpowering anything, making sure you're not blowing over your PSUs. So check that if you're switching to Ravencoin, but that's what I did. Like I said, for the future, it doesn't mean I'm going to keep everything on Ravencoin. I have about 510 mega hash right now for that power I'm drawing. I don't even want to look at what to mine, but like I said, I'm going to be putting a few cards on Flux, probably the 1070 Ti, so look forward to that video coming up, and maybe eventually some stuff on Ergo. So anyway, I think that's it for today. I just wanted to share what I'm doing immediately after the merge. And yeah, I mean, if anybody is down because of the merge, Ethereum is gone, profitability is pretty much gone. Keep your head up. I mean, I think it's going to be a short amount of time before we get to at least like that break even on mining. But the times ahead might be a little rough. You guys should kind of be ready for this. I mean, we had some time to prepare. We knew this was the sort of final date for a while. But yeah, just hang in there. If you have to turn off your stuff, turn it off. The ROI will be longer, but it is what it is. And if you can afford to, you know, pay for your electric out of pocket, and you have the courage to do so, like I'm doing right now, then go for it. I mean, like I said, it doesn't mean that the profitability, or because the profitability is not there now, that if you don't put the money in now, well, once it is profitable and you sell at that point, well, you still mine profitably, even though at the time it wasn't profitable. You know, at the time of sale, when you look back, you say, yeah, I mined profitably, because at the end of the day, if you look at the amount of power you paid versus what you sold that coin for at the end of the day, and that amount is positive, well, right? So it's all a matter of perspective, guys. So anyway, just my 2 cents. I might start doing a bit more videos where it's this style of sort of, we're on the computer, we're looking at me. So let me know if you guys prefer that style of video to sort of the first person. And yeah, that's it. Keep on mining, or don't, I guess. But let me know what's up in the comments. I appreciate you all. Have a good night. Peace out, guys. Mining Office out.